sun is numb, the Keurig's clean. Your dog is dead, it's a Ponzi screen. Ponzi screen, Ponzi screen, because it's just something to do.
Oh, tight, yes. Man, look at the this is fun. I actually just found myself on the list of current members of the United States Congress.
Hell yeah.
By wealth. Organized by wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wait, hold on,
So, yeah.
Danny. Do we start with the youngest, scrappiest, and hungriest? Or do we...
Everybody, it's fun. It is a lovely swath of Democrats and Republicans.
It's bipartisan.
Bipartisan, yeah.
It's bipartisan. Oh, this is the top 40. 39 of them are incumbents, which is wonderful. This is so funny. So you remember Kelly Loeffler? Her net worth was, wow, man, $500 million.
Sick. Dude,
she's
a Smith and Walensky's getting delivered every night. That's what that is.
Oh, yeah. Tipping exactly $1. But yeah,
come on, 9%, Danny.
Yeah.
When you have that money, though, you can get the greens. You can get that cream spinach side at Peter Luger's.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Is that some sex thing, Gabe? I don't know what you mean.
I want to tell you, I've delivered from Peter Luger's several times, and I've never delivered something that isn't a burger. I'm always delivering a burger.
Wow,
from Peter
which is like the
Luger's.
lamest and cheapest cut of meat. Like hamburgers were basically invented to give people all the meat that isn't a prime cut.
I heard they were.
Yeah.
I heard they were invented to divide the working class based on racial and ethnic grounds, so they couldn't rise up against their managers.
Hell yeah, dude! You know what I love? Gastronomy eugenics. I like it when we get into culinary phrenology over here.
Dude, that would be the most annoying rap album name I could ever think of.
DJ Eugenics?
Culinary phrenology.
Culinary phrenology.
Yeah.
That's here I come, culinary phrenology. Oh, ha.
That's like you can
nice,
only
dude.
your diet is we give you a prescription for a diet based on your race, and that's it. You can only eat what your race should eat.
Yeah. Well, fortunately
Based on
for
your
me, that's
23andMe.
Do you want to? This is funny. You know who is on this list who I didn't think would be on there, or I've heard their name in like progressive circles quite a bit. Is
AOC.
yeah, see, wow, all that Soros money.
Yeah.
No, it's Ro Khanna from California. He was a heavy Bernie guy. Still is. He has a net worth of $27 million. He's number 15.
Row money, row problems.
Big Row.
Oh,
Big Row.
he does, and he actually has more than Mitch McConnell. He. Slowed. Wait.
Gabe, you just fell into a shredding machine, and that's like what your audio did.
Oh, you're frozen. Gabe, are you back?
No, he ain't back, dude.
No, he's not back.
Look at that.
You're back.
Look at that face.
Look at. Oh,
dude.
he's so chill.
He's frozen in like such a chill ass pose right now. Yeah, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and blackmail him later with it, and feeling good.
But anyways, yeah, there's just some funny people on this list. Joe Kennedy, he's 18.7 million. He's just below Mitch McConnell, who has 22.5. Ro Khanna has 27.
Joe Kennedy is the notorious fake Kennedy from Louisiana, right?
No. He's the dripper. He's the mouth dripper.
Oh, the ginger boy.
Yeah,
The
he's the
ginger
real.
boy man.
He's the. Yeah, he's the real. Dianne Feinstein, she's 58 million.
yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Yas Queen.
But Nancy Pelosi, $120 million.
You're right, and she's a slumlord, right? She owns like 15 blocks of housing with leaky faucets and backed up toilets and rats in the crawl spaces.
Are you serious?
I didn't know that.
She's big into real estate.
Of course she is. She should. I didn't know that. I'd have
Interior design is her passion.
Yeah, and ice cream flavors in the freezer.
Oh my god!
I thought about it, and like I was thinking about wealth in the abstract the other day, and like what it means to have $1 million or 10 million or $100 million, and like honestly, like I never want to lose the joy and like ecstasy I feel like when I like come into like 300, not that type of coming into. I never want to feel lose the feeling of just getting $500. I love getting $500. It's like the best, dude. When you get like a couple $100, you're just like, hell yeah. I like you win it, or like you did something where you really felt like you earned it or whatever, or something like that. That shit rocks, man. But when you're like a multi-millionaire, like Bill Gates doesn't know how much bread costs. That sucks, man. Like that's what a dehumanizing feeling.
There's no ecstasy from getting guacamole at Chipotle.
Oh, none at all. None at all. Guac is, you could fill a swimming pool with guac.
Yeah. You guys were about to sing that. You guys were about to sing that song, "The Simple Things" from Hey Arnold. You remember that? Remember that episode where Mr. Wynn becomes a country singer? Gabe knows what I'm talking about.
No. Yeah. No.
Well.
No.
Well. Anyways,
I didn't
that
have
was for
Nickelodeon.
4 people out there. That's what that reference was for.
I didn't have cable as a child.
Yeah. People forget, much like Nickelodeon is older than Ice. That's a fun thing.
Oh yeah. Older than Ice.
Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon is like 10 years, 14 years older than Ice.
Yeah. And so
I think that, yeah.
How many is
like,
that? How many is that? Like 6 confederacies?
Yeah. Yeah. I think Nickelodeon's been around since 1991. I want to say something like that. I just remember Mark Summers was at like the ribbon cutting. Like he literally cut a ribbon and then they like sprayed some kids with some gack or something,
Live from Orlando, Florida, it's the amazing 3-hour Nickelodeon Studios opening day celebration. Here is Mark Summers.
Welcome to the Nick Studios, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. First time in 11 years we're doing a live broadcast on Nickelodeon, and it means we are coming to you from our new home right here in Orlando, Florida.
1977, right? Nickelodeon.
What?
No, that can't be true.
Because there was Nick at Night.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It must have been invented as a privatized version of Sesame Street. In the beginning. Did you guys watch Sesame? Gabe, did you watch Sesame Street as a kid?
Oh, hell yeah. And I would go to Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. for pneumonia as a child, and there was a big mural of Big Bird on the wall.
Hey.
The most cheerful mural in the saddest emergency room you could imagine.
Oh, wait. Nicktoons. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I'm sorry. I'm still focused on Nickelodeon.
Speaking of underage adults, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested this week, and I think that we should all just first off just celebrate this woman who, people were like, she has 3 houses. But, like, come on, she's just a normal person. She had a house in New Hampshire. She's not this crazy billionaire person. It's a normal thing to have a house in New Mexico and a house in New Hampshire. Like many, many Americans, she has a vacation home. Just that does not conflict with her values. It does not make her a hypocrite. Like, I think it's just this ad hominem smear that the right always does against people when they just have a lake house or if they have a $17 million ice cream in their refrigerator. It's just another one of these attacks by these like bold progressive people. That's just ad hominem and unnecessary. What do you guys think of that?
It's like Bernie. It's like, I have my main home, I have a vacation home, and like most other Vermonters, I have a cabin that I destroy children in.
Yeah, so apparently she bought this home in Vermont, or sorry, New Hampshire, with like just Jesus Christ, with cash only, with cashola, and she was hiding out in New Hampshire like she was, a made man from The Sopranos hiding his homosexuality. Just
So she's out there eating some Johnny cakes with a part-time fireman.
Yeah, exactly.
In New Hampshire right now, and that's where they found her, because there wasn't an Upper West Side to New Hampshire pipeline, so she figured nobody would discover her in this B team state until the primaries, at least. Until the primaries.
Yo, it'd be so funny if like Pete Buttigieg knocked on her door and was just like, walk away, slowly. Like he was just door knocking for his campaign and just accidentally knocked on her door.
Dude, I honestly am very sad that this is the timeline that we're in, because like according to what you said, David, she recently bought the New Hampshire house, which means that like if she had bought it just 3-4 months earlier, it's very possible that like you or I could have been canvassing for Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire and been like, hello, hi. Oh my God. How do you feel about Medicare for all?
She's like, I'm a strong supporter of Bernie Sanders. I've given him a lot of money. That would be funny. I mean, I would laugh. I would laugh a little bit. Like, right? Like, I mean, I would call the cops and I'd be scared shitless and I would be like, fear for my life that all of a sudden, like, the Illuminati has, a death, whatever on me. But it would still be funny a little bit. Gabe, what do you think?
I'm just, I'm just sad that I don't have a photo with her. It's like anyone who's anyone has that photo. That would be a credit.
Dude,
so,
she's popping up everywhere.
Yeah, and it's almost as if it's an indictment of everybody,
she really is like Zelig,
who travels in these insane circles, and that it's not a coincidence. It's not like, oh, she has a photo with everybody. It's like, maybe she just has a photo with.
Dude, getting a photo with Ghislaine Maxwell in certain circles is like getting a Mindy Tucker.
Yes.
You got to get your Mindy,
Also, it's like, look, I know I don't want to demonize a name, Ghislaine, whatever it is, but like,
Gasoline.
if anybody tells me Gasoline Maxwell,
so much cooler.
Gasoline Maxwell. She's the villain in the Fury Road Part 2.
Yeah.
It's like
gasoline.
Furiosa has to save like a bunch of kids from a pedophile oasis that's run by.
That would be That would be great for Fury Road 2. That would be fantastic.
Hell yeah, dude.
Or Gasoline Maxwell.
Dude. Gasoline Maxwell, like, how did you get your name? I was born. They found me on the side of the road inside a gas tank.
Yeah.
Something like that. And she just is the Maxwell family. And she's like, and I've been a pedophile ever since. So we saw the indictment came out today. We saw some charges, quite a few counts. I think somewhere like 5 counts. And yep. 6, I think, actually 6 counts, 2 of them perjury, and the rest of them, people say overt acts. That is that's the way that's the way they're calling rape. And was there anything about it that was like weird or confusing to you guys?
Could you tell me the charges again, because I didn't catch all of them, but like, so yeah, say them again.
So first one, Incitement of a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts is count 2. So the thing is, they keep talking about travel with all of these, and that is because it is required that in order to have the federal government prosecute this kind of case, it has to be between states. There has to be activity in multiple states, and that's what this because that invokes what's called the Commerce Clause in the Constitution, and it's a very broad thing, and it's very inclusive, and that includes, raping in multiple states can be considered interstate commerce. It doesn't necessarily suggest that they were being trafficked, although that could be a separate allegation that may come out.
Did you know that there's It's the darkest thing I've ever said. Might not leave it in.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna Gabe, based off Gabe's grimacing face. Gabe is like,
you guys just wanna you wanna go viral because this is, pick your battles.
No such thing as bad press, though.
Oh, I'm gonna bleep that one just so everybody knows something terrible happened, but you'll never know what it was.
Well, guys, welcome to Scream Uncensored.
Yeah.
So
after dark.
It's not even dark. It's not even dark. We're recording a little different today. It's full on daylight. You know.
Okay, so count 3: conspiracy to transport minors with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Very similar thing. Transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity.
What?
This is all
Sorry.
the allegations.
Because while you're saying this, I'm just imagining her in a school bus with kids in the back of it, and I keep hearing, "Tell me how to get to Sesame Street" playing.
Oh man! Now I'm gonna bleep you, Gabe. This is everyone's getting canceled. I love it. Everyone.
Gasoline Maxwell, and it's
Dude, that's how she got her name. She's a school bus driver. Gasoline.
Yeah.
Those are the counts are about the 3 different anonymous victims that are in it, and then 2 counts of perjury. And what's very fun, there's a question she was asked in 2016. Did Jeffrey Epstein have a scheme to recruit underage girls for sexual massages? And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they said, list all the people under the age of 18 that you interacted with at any of Jeffrey's properties. She said, I'm not aware of anybody that I interacted with other than, obviously, the plaintiff, who was 17 at this point. They're charging her with perjury on that. And there's a few other times where she says, I don't recall. And then she said, I have not given anyone a massage. I never gave minor victim 2 a massage. They're charging them all with perjury on that. And, that's fucking great, man. I don't know. This is a good day. Did you guys think that this would ever happen? I didn't.
No, I thought she was under 10 feet of wet cement. At this point now, dry cement, somewhere in a parking lot.
I was kind of thinking about. So when people, I don't know. Does that make sense?
I think we should cut everything you just said.
I should.
When you
dude, what if I just
when you see my eyes bulge out in the Zoom,
yeah.
That's just years of seeing other people crash and burn, trying the same trick.
Point being.
Go over the hill, Danny. Over the hill.
Yeah. I did it. My little car made it over the hill. It was just sort of like it's like going up like a San Francisco style hill. You know what I mean? I got to the top. There's gonna be an absolute polka dot of beeps throughout this, and it will be funnier than the sum of its parts. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Nice. Well, I just want to let the record show that I never knew Danny, and I've never known him, and I've never associated with him. Don't know who this person is, and
David, we have 37 different photos of you with Danny that are over a decade, where we can actually see you both aging, and they're in different locations with various third parties in each photo. One of you two in Sedona.
And do you think Dersh or Prince Andrew's gonna fall? That's what I'm curious about.
Bro.
Whether or not they go down.
I want more than anyone, the two people that I really want to fall. I mean, I think Trump, right? Like we all want. Yeah, I want Trump to fall. But like,
Sure.
Personally, like I want Bill Clinton and Alan Dershowitz.
That's a lovely duo to fall.
Yeah,
I love that.
I really, really think Bill needs to, that dude needs to go down. Like I don't know. Like people are like Hillary was oftentimes acted like Ghislaine to Bill's Jeffrey Epstein. But like
sure.
I mean there were certain. I mean this is she certainly made certain people's lives a living hell. Like she made Monica Lewinsky's life hell, and among other people, but and Veronica Flowers' life hell, and things like that, and defended her husband in those sorts of circumstances. But
and
Bill
she
was the
killed...
one who did it. Bill was the one who did it, right? Like Bill was the guy who was the perpetrator, right? Like that is an important distinction I don't feel like people really bring up enough. Is like,
hey, it's not pedophilia, it's a febophilia.
Yeah.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
That's good, right? Yeah.
There you go.
I got the big thumbs up from Gabe. Yeah.
You landed that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking at something that's more like tied to us and what we do on on our beat. There's a lot of talk about when Jeffrey Epstein was first arrested, like how he made his money, and basically no one knows.
Yeah,
which is there's no evidence.
Yeah, there's I mean, he was supposedly a asset manager. Well, he was an asset manager for Leslie Wexner.
Yep.
He was an asset manager for him. Before that, he worked for the Dalton School. Is that the name of it?
Something like
so
that.
he was it's a pretentious Upper East Side school, private school. So he did that, then became either a stockbroker or an asset manager. I can't remember which one. And then was given power of attorney over all of Les Wexner's stuff.
He was a hedge fund manager, an asset manager.
Hedge fund manager, excuse me. Yeah.
So that, I mean, but no one really, it's very hard to run a hedge fund and not have people know what you're investing in. A hedge fund is a private fund, so you don't have to register, or you have to register with the SEC, but you don't have to comply by certain rules. You don't have to disclose, I don't believe, you don't have to disclose who invests in it. There's just like a lot of leniency as to what can go into it and how it works and things like that. But still, there's a lot of reporting, and there's a lot of ways and just gossip and ways people can find out as to what a hedge fund is invested in. And really the most prominent theory that's come out is that this is a blackmailing money laundering device.
Yeah. Didn't he do the you're gay, now give me all your money trick to Les Wexner or something like that?
I don't know.
I think that was in the documentary. Ooh, I can't remember. Oh, I should clarify now, just for everybody. I absolutely believe that the Netflix documentary on Jeffrey Epstein is a psyop in some way. So take everything that you watch with that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Yeah. But everybody commonly believes he had some form of blackmail on Les Wexner. And
okay.
Yeah.
I did not watch the documentary in part because I didn't really think that it would be that worth watching.
I think it's fine as far as information goes, but the thing is that like the way you know that it has ulterior motives is just because they basically just strictly talk about the years from like 95 to 2009 and like a little bit of what happened last summer, but not really. So it's like they're very much like, no. Let's talk about all of his Florida case, which is like, if you don't know the details of it, it's like a good book report for that.
Right.
But like, I think they mentioned Bill Gates and like Bill Clinton like twice. They're like, oh, he's a shadowy figure. He's associated with these people. They never say they never actually say anything meaningful about that aspect of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. There's sins of omission in the documentary.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I also think that there's photos of Ghislaine and Jeffrey with so many high-profile people. It just keeps coming up. Elon Musk. I mean, like, when did this dude even move to? He moved to the United States in '95, or something like that, right after apartheid ended. And there are so many people who have had some sort of affiliation with them that my personal belief is that even if, and it's a big if, everything is uncovered, people will still never be satisfied, and people will constantly think that somebody was involved and they got away with it. Like crazy people, like Chris Tucker from the Rush Hour movies was on Jeffrey Epstein's planes. Like just the breadth and depth is really, really confusing. And I think that, that is ultimately just, it's never really going to go away. There's a certain segment of the population who will always think that there was always someone else who's getting away with it.
You know what would have made Chris Tucker innocent?
What?
If Jackie Chan was on the plane too.
Oh.
Dude, think about it. No. If Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are both on the Lolita Express at the same time, then it's just sort of like, hey, these guys just did Rush Hour. Let's just they're like entertainment, or something like that. It is way worse that just Chris Tucker was there. But Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan being on the same plane is just sort of like, maybe they were just there for a promotional thing. It's like, who knows?
Maybe Rush Hour is real and it's a documentary and they were on deep undercover.
I just love I love the idea that Jeffrey was throwing Ghislaine a birthday party and her favorite movie is Rush Hour. So do you speak English? He hires Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker and they're staying at the guest house on Little St. James Island, and they have no idea what's going on in the temple. They're just on their own, and they're like, well, we just have to show up and check in from 6 to 8 for the birthday, and Jackie Chan is going to karate chop the cake, and I'm going to tell a couple jokes, and that's it. I'm going to bug my eyes out.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, this is an episode of the Little St. James cartoon, The Zany Adventures of Ghislaine and Jeffrey.
Yeah, you can't. If you have just Chris Tucker or just Jackie Chan, it's way worse for them as individuals. But together, it's like maybe
it could be an Abbott and they were doing an Abbott and Costello bit or something.
Like, what if Ghislaine every year Ghislaine had a different birthday party on Little St. James Island, and like one year, like Jeffrey gets her like the Harlem Globetrotters to come. And they set up their own little basketball court, and they do like a bunch of tricks. And she's like, "Thank you, Jeffrey. That was delightful."
Hey, Ghislaine, we got you the cast of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Because it wasn't all. I'm sure it wasn't all sex crimes on the island. Like there must have been like things that they did for entertainment during the breaks.
Oh my God!
I mean, you got to keep Alan Dershowitz's wife distracted.
She's just like in the background with like the whistling music, like
yeah. they're like, who ordered 50 Cent to come to this party? And it was like, oh, he's here to distract Alan Dershowitz's wife.
She loves
my
Many
God.
Men. It's a great
Yeah.
song for her.
Yeah.
I think because there's a lot of people who are on his plane, including Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell was one of them.
God.
And he said that he was on there because he just was on like a private charter that needed to go from like LA to New York or something like that. And they were just like, yeah, all the other flights are canceled, but you can take this one if you want. And he was just like, okay, I need to get there. So he did. And then he didn't think about it till later. And to me, that actually makes me think that Malcolm Gladwell is innocent because everybody thinks Malcolm Gladwell is smart, but he fucking sucks. Like he's dumb.
Yeah, so he's
a
either-
pseudoscientist.
Yeah, so he's either
you know?
dumb or a rapist, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and like God, what a time to be dumb. You know, like what it'd be a joyous moment if he was dumb.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
for him anyway. I hate him.
Yeah.
So when we started the episode, I was talking about the wealthiest Congress people,
Yeah.
the top 40, and that wasn't for no reason. As we are all familiar, in the past 3-ish months, payment protection program money went out, and it was very illicit, and there was not a lot of information on who it went to exactly, and that information just got divulged.
Oh yeah.
And turns out, drum roll, a lot of people who probably didn't need it got it, including associates of Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is worth $120 million. And yet, according to the New York Post, you love it, her husband, who has an 8% stake in a law firm, got it. I would remind everyone that Nancy Pelosi and her husband are worth $120 million. And
What was the law firm? Do you know?
yes, I do know that. So here we go. Aha. Hamill told the Post that Paul Pelosi owns 8.1% of EDI Associates, which got a loan of between $350,000 and $1 million.
Jesus.
The company invests the company. Oh, David, the company invests in the El Dorado Hotel in Sonoma, California. Pelosi's stake is worth between $250,000 and $500,000, according to the official disclosure forms. So
Why did you point to me when you said the El Dorado Hotel in California? Are you accusing me of spending time there in some
No.
illicit way? Do you
No,
have
because-
some footage of me staying at this hotel, or
with Ghislaine? No, it's real estate. Remember?
yes? Oh yes, she loves real estate.
Yes,
Here-
she's a real estate.
Real quick, here's a few other people that got this. This is from the AP. Kanye West's clothing line, the sculptor Jeff Koons, the Girl Scouts, looks like political groups, a few political groups like Americans for Tax Reform Foundation, which was started by Grover Norquist, who's our conservative small federal government guy. And the Center for Law and Social Policy got loans up to $1 million. Americans for Tax Reform got $350K. Jim Justice, the billionaire governor of West Virginia,
That guy has $1 billion.
got $1 billion, and he got $6.3 million from the program. Restaurant chain TGI Friday and PF Chang's, they got, let's see, 5 to 10 million each, looks like, which is pretty cool. And then the biggest one that I thought was the most fascinating, this is from the Wall Street Journal, was just the number of private equity firms who got PPP loans. And as we all know, private equity, huge fan. All of us love it on the pod.
We love it. We love it.
We love their business model. We love what they do to journalism, and they are taking in at least 10 private investment firms access the program, securing loans amount between $150,000 and $1 million, according to analysis. This is supposed to be by the Small Business Administration, right? This is supposed to be money that's going to small businesses, and it's going to hedge funds or whatever private investment fund you want to think of.
No, David, you don't understand. If we don't get that $150,000, we won't be able to get 50,000 Keurig cups to make instant coffee in the morning. Like, what do you? And we can't. We need this. We need this, David.
More importantly, if a private equity firm doesn't get this money, then they won't be able to invest in data science that inflates the price, artificially inflates the price of a media company, lay off all the journalists, and then sell it to an unknowing buyer before they realize that they lost all their value. How are you going to get socially beneficial services from private equity without this sort of an PPP loan?
Yeah. Gabe, did you have something?
I was just thinking about the Ayn Rand Institute also getting PPE money.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's less our beat, but also just a sweet irony.
I love it.
Something I wanna chuckle to as the ship sinks.
Yeah, I mean, there is like the disclosure with this is all very, very murky. I'm frankly surprised that we got this much information as we did.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as disbursement of those funds go, I think there's going to be even less disclosure with how that actually happened. So there is like a very, very real possibility that money from the public money got made specifically for helping people, and then instead that money got taken and very likely got used by a private equity fund to then fuck over a large swath of an industry.
Yeah.
And then lay them on. It's like the through line is not it's not hard to make.
Yeah,
it's
the PPP loans, instead of saving small businesses, basically gave steroids to their decline.
Yeah,
which is cool, and exactly what you expect in Hell World. Steroids are cool. I think strong people are cool, and that's fucking rad. Private, yeah. I don't know. I hate private equity so much. I can't make a joke. I can't. It's hard for me to put in a joke. I'm just so mad. I'm so mad.
I was thinking about so you said hedge fund. So there's hedge fund. I was trying to order industries based off of how likely they are to be serial pedophiles based off of their disclosure. So if like Jeffrey Epstein had a hedge fund, then that means that like, and there was no disclosure there. So it's like, yes. So then like, venture capitalists, their disclosure is like, we innovate. So that's kind of like a maybe. That's like a big maybe. You don't know with them. And then private equity, they're just on the face of it. They're just like, oh, we're going to ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, at least you're upfront about it.
I could see, like, you know how like oftentimes like the person who, it's like the last person you would suspect. Just
What are you?
I feel like that is like venture capital. You wouldn't expect them to be pedophiles. I think venture capital would be the rapists. And
I think you're right. I wish we had a live stream so people could see Gabe's expression. It's
literally every bit is ending with.
All right, enough of that. David, did you have any other pertinent?
Gabe, do you want to talk about your wine shit or whatever?
Yo, So what I like about today's episode is this is the closest that I've ever seen you, David, be like Michael Douglas in Falling Down. Like you're unraveling.
Yes.
You are unwrapped.
Favorite.
And I love that movie.
Favorite.
But
Favorite movie of the pod. I have to watch it. I still haven't watched it. I want to watch it so bad.
do it tonight.
I gotta watch it.
Do it tonight.
I gotta. Yes. That's
Yeah.
gotta happen. It's gotta happen.
So look, guys. I mean, I'm fascinated with the white collar crime, and I'm also just fascinated with crime and conspiracies in general. So I went down a rabbit hole and literally watched a YouTube channel called Down the Rabbit Hole, and came out of it on the other end, learning all about the Austrian wine poisoning of 1985. And
Oh, I love it.
discover it, but I think it fits into so many things happening today, and I can draw a lot of connections between now and 85. But the most important thing you need to know is that Germans love cheap, sweet wine.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They are horny for just like sugar cubes in their wine, and that is important because Austria, they were like really into it. They made like sweet, gross wines, and they figured out how to mass produce this wine using grapes that they left on the vines until late summer. And at some point, the wine became so popular in Germany that officials realized there's no way that they could have made this much of this quantity of that wine. Like scientifically, it's like the numbers were way too inflated. But they had no the Ministry of Agriculture only had 18 inspectors for 60,000 products.
So also, like, I mean, what are they inspecting in European wine stuff? Because like in the U.S., we're just checking to make sure that there's like not rat turds in the wine, maybe, or not too many. Like, because if it's a hot dog, okay, who cares? Like, are they expecting quality as well as health, or are they just doing quality checks or just health checks?
The quality check would be, how is this wine so sweet? How are they able to make so much of it? So they're going to inspect it to see if it's adulterated with sugar.
Okay.
Now,
and that's illegal for a winemaker, because we can just put sugar in our wine, and in America it's fine. Is there like a special thing that makes that illegal in Germany or Austria?
I think it would undermine the credibility of the brands, right?
Okay.
So
I think I can actually speak to this a little bit because I used to work at a wine shop.
Yeah.
It's all about like a natural wine shop as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, you know, when it comes to the adulteration of wine, you know, in addition to just sort of like poison control stuff, like you don't want crazy shit going in your wine, you know,
Right.
It's all about like how little you've actually done to it, you know, petit naturals, pet nats, like the only thing. The reason, like, there's, you know, you have the varietal of grape that you're using, like like a Riesling. That's an Austrian ass wine.
Right.
Rieslings are usually sweeter.
grandma
You know,
used
they're
to-
white.
My man knows.
Yeah.
Riesling.
Yeah.
They're a wider sweet line. Like a pet nat, they put, you know, a little additional like live culture in it, like yeast or something like that, so it becomes naturally sparkling. You know, and then you have like varietals of wine that'll have like, oh, this has a little bit of this type of grape in it, and this as well. That's what the grapes are. So like Pinot Noir, it's a grape. You know, a Riesling, that's a type of grape. You know, that Malbec, that's a type of grape.
So Danny,
you know?
I used to work in your field as well. I used to work at a cheese shop and a wine shop, and I remember.
Oh my God!
I remember them also talking about how there's this. With cheese, Europe has this whole standards process about how, for something to be considered, to call themselves a Parmesan, or to call themselves a Brie, or to call themselves, even like in the wine side, to call themselves like a Champagne, it has to meet all these accreditation standards. Sometimes regional, sometimes process, sometimes ingredients, stuff like that. So that's
Yeah. And so what we're looking at here is, at the beginning of this, the conditions leading up to this were that the Austrians had a sweet wine that was popular with Germans that was also cheap. And Then it gained popularity. This style of wine gained popularity. The Austrians figured out a streamlined industrial way to scale up their production. However, in doing that, they reached a point where it was actually impossible for them to be producing the amount that they said it would be impossible for there to be that much sweet wine out on the market and have it also be legitimately what they said it was. So even though some
From like a space perspective, like there wasn't enough grapes or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Not enough late season grapes to be able to do that. So the ministry was still suspicious, but they just didn't have an FDA that could handle that. You know, it's like you've got 18 detectives dealing with 60,000 agricultural products. Then in 1984, some guy came in, a whistleblower, a mysterious scientist, and handed over a bottle of wine and said, "Hey, check this wine for diethylene glycol." And then he left. Oh, what? Diethylene glycol? You've never heard of that before?
What'd you call me?
Yeah. So this is like basically a chemical that you might find in like a paint thinner or some other. It's not alcohol, but it's just a serious industrial product that you might find in like a tractor. But you definitely shouldn't find diethylene glycol in nature or in it's not something you would find in wine naturally.
So it's used in tractors and paint thinner.
Yeah. It is.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Yeah.
Can I get a lifeline?
It's
yeah.
It is not a sulfite. Let's just put it that way, which is the most common preservative in wine.
A funny thing about it is that in large doses, it will create when you ingest it. Your liver will start creating toxins as a byproduct of breaking it down, and the toxins that it creates kill your kidney. So if you
oh no, dude!
If you drank enough of it, even in one sitting, your kidneys would just stop working, and you'd go into renal failure, and your blood would get too acidic.
I don't want
so
that.
That's the first thing.
Nah.
Also, diethylene glycol destroys the myelin sheath on nerve cells, so it will damage your neurons and cause paralysis.
No, my sheath. My sheath.
It
no!
destroys my lean, thin, skinny sheath. That's
right.
I've worked so hard to acquire for beach season.
Yeah.
It'll leave your sword will be left unsheathed and be exposed to the environment and
one of
could
us had to
possibly
make that
rust.
joke. One of us.
Yeah.
We had to make that joke, and I thank you for your service. My night.
Why did they use it, man? Well, they used diethylene glycol because it is hard to detect for companies that were testing for sugar in the wine. You could get a very sweet wine that tasted better putting diethylene glycol in it. And it was hard to detect because no one was looking for it.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about poisons as well. That I mean, it's funny to say where they're like, why did they put this poison in this fucking wine? And it's just sort of like, some poisons have flavors. I feel like I've seen in like a serial killer documentary on like people who poison other people that like arsenic has like an almondy flavor or something like that. Yeah, it's like poisons can smell and taste like stuff.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe they didn't think that it was going to. You have to put in enough to kill somebody, but in a small enough dose, they figured that it wouldn't kill people. Also, if the alcohol actually has ethanol or whatever the normal natural alcohol is that we, that alcohol will bond to your liver, and so the the glycol would pass without damaging you. That would be another theory that the scientists would have. So you would get the taste without the damage. However, if you also cut your wine with sugar to keep it sweet, the sugar plus the diethylene glycol, it is a force magnifier.
Nice.
So,
it's like when you smoke weed and do mushrooms at the same time.
That's right. A deadly combination, boy.
Yeah.
So it fucks you up harder. And
Yeah.
it'll kill you.
It'll kill you faster.
This'll really fuck you up.
Yeah. It's like taking Xannies and Percocets at the same time. You know.
This is I finally looked up this stuff, and it's used in antifreeze, brake fluid.
That's right.
Cigarettes and some dyes.
Right.
I
So
just like how they just slip cigarettes in there. Just
why? Why did they put that in cigarettes? Come on, guys.
Because it makes them sweet.
Nice,
Sweet cigarettes. Yeah.
So here's where things went bananas, though. A couple different vineyards, they started checking the wine for this stuff, this DG, and then all of the other. What happened right after that was mysteriously the waterways in Austria started getting filled with untreated sewage. Why? Because all of the other wine dealers saw that the inspectors were checking their bottles, and they started dumping all of the diethylene glycol wine into just flushing it. And the wine and the chemicals killed all of the bacterial colonies at the sewage treatment plants.
Oh my God.
So
dude,
it just devastated the all of these local ecosystems because the toxins killed all of the natural bacteria that you needed to break down sewage.
Bro, what
this is
the fuck?
This is so funny because this is like what you said, 1984?
Yeah, 85 for this, yeah.
84, 85, this is right in the middle of like, the Eastern bloc era of the Soviet Union too, where there's like, wait, was Austria part of no, they were west.
It was on the loser side, the western side.
It was on so it's like this entire time you've got people in the Western Civ basically being like, oh, Western exceptionals, look at them look at those mongrels over in the Soviet Union eating each other, ha ha ha. Meanwhile we're like actively poisoning ourselves because exactly
So like sweet wine.
So everyone started figuring out that this was a problem. And the FDAs in Germany and Austria, they start collecting as many of these bottles as possible. Yet their testing is so disorganized that like they ended up testing one bottle 100 different times. The results took months to get back. Does this sound anything like our scientific problems we're having today?
Oh no!
You think they're paid off by big? You think they're paid off by big wine?
Big wine.
Wow. David, that's really interesting that you say that because the Austrian government knew about this and then really dragged their feet and tried to cover it up because they weren't interested in protecting the consumers. They were interested in giving the wine industry enough time to figure out how to solve their problems. So they were like, okay, can we create laws that allow for an amount of diethylene glycol to be in the wine, and then give everybody a timetable to dilute their wine enough so that it's only a certain parts per liter.
My God.
The problem that the wine industry had a problem though, that there wasn't enough clean wine around for them to mix their poison wine with.
Oh no, that's funny,
dude.
That's funny.
Actually,
sucks, bro.
It's so funny. See, that's the thing is they're like, we don't have enough wine to actually make our wine. But like they could have taken like a fucking vintage 1965 Malbec and been like, for the greater good.
But funny that you
no
brought
Malbecs
up
in Austria.
Yeah, I love that you brought up an earlier time period, right?
Yeah.
Well, what they discovered was a huge can of worms because they tested a wine from 1976, which is at least 10 years before all this.
No.
Also, so they'd been using this diethylene glycol for at least 10 years. People had been poisoning themselves with this nonsense. Another thing that came up was in testing all these wines, they discovered that a lot of bottles that were grape wine were actually Kunst wine, which
Excuse
is
me?
Kunst wine,
Kunst.
which just
Kunst
tastes
wine.
like grapes,
You can't
but
say
is
that.
not.
Kunst
wine.
That's
What?
Yeah.
So it just
I just need
so it's fake. It's like artificial grapes.
Right. Or like it's made of other fruit and it just is made to taste like grape wine.
You guys ever thought about
Yeah.
like grape flavor, how different it is? Like grape popsicles, how different they are from like eating a fucking grape. Like
Yeah.
it's a complete fabrication, man. And I thought about it, and I think it's actually trying to replicate the flavor of really shitty, sweet, non-alcoholic wine. That's what artificial grape flavor is. It's not.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like, think about what
Yeah.
like a sugary non-alcoholic wine would taste like, and that's closer to artificial grape popsicles than a fucking grape is.
Right. It's like prepping kids to want to drink wine later.
Yeah,
It's wine
Yeah.
training wheels.
Yeah, like the kid who drinks too much grape popsicles, like you gotta watch out for them. Like they're gonna
They're gonna be a boon. They're gonna be a Boone's farm.
Hey.
fanatic.
grape
Uh,
popsicles.
Yeah.
Grape popsicles run in my family. You know.
Guess where else they found diethylene glycol? In just straight up kids' grape juice.
No. Why?
Yo.
Oh.
These Germanic people
God.
love sweet flavors, but don't want those sugar calories.
Dude, these losers. It's like, dude, look, if you like, we all know that like excessive sugar in your body is like probably not good for you, but just eat regular sugar. Like, yeah, come on. How hard is it? Like, why? Oh, no, we're tainting a tradition. No, there can't be none. No, just look, if you want some sweet shit, just make it sweet. There's a
Dude.
whole industry of sweet tea based around this.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, when this
Yeah.
came out, basically, like, I just was thinking about whatever the all the incentives of the free market and business. Every single one of
Yeah.
these disincentivized helping the consumer. Like another thing that happened was all the German. Like they also found out that the German wines. The Germans said, well, our wines obviously don't have this problem because we're not dirty Austrians cutting our wines with chemicals. So then they
Nice.
Yeah.
tested their own wines and they discovered that they had much lower amounts, but they still had amounts of diethylene glycol in them.
God.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because the Germans were cutting their own wine with this. It was that they were cutting their own wine with Austrian wine to make it sweeter.
No.
Oh yeah, baby.
Just
Oh.
admit it.
Yeah.
Oh man, jeez. Okay, look, I gotta look.
That's fucking
Look, I s-
rad, man. I like that.
I studied German for 2 years in college. All right, look, I
As an authority.
love, dude. I love shitting on those dirty Austrians as much as anybody else. But you got to make sure your science is clean before you start making fun of them.
Now,
Come on.
I mean, also
come
like,
on.
come on, are you on what universe would Germany ever have moral authority to make fun of an Austrian? Like, I'm sorry, they're both horrible places.
Yeah.
Like none of I mean, I like Berlin seems fine, but like it just what would you ever be like? I mean, that's like being like, yeah, Alberta, those white trash assholes. We're much better. We're from Saskatchewan. It's like, who do you think
Yeah.
you are, man? What do you think you are?
Dude, it
Fucking
goes all-
Finland, you know?
Oh, this
Dude.
wasn't all the Germans did, my man. So
Yeah.
Okay.
now they're sitting all this inventory of adulterated Austrian wine the distributors. They can't sell it in Germany because the German newspapers already know about it. They can't sell it in Austria, but they want to get rid of it.
My God. Oh, no.
So they start selling the adulterated Austrian wine to other countries
Yes.
to try to recoup their losses before the news goes international.
Okay. Top three guesses off the top of my head: the United States, Mexico, and the emerging post-Soviet global South.
Czechoslovakia for sure.
Now,
they definitely got
the two.
They got that.
The two countries that got off unscathed, but also as collateral damage, China and Japan banned Australian wines because they mispronounced Austria.
No.
No. China. Oh God.
I love this. So
that's wonderful.
Dude, wait, so what countries got the wine?
I'm
Like,
not
did they
sure, but I
offload
think
them?
it was other European countries.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna assume it
'Cause the-
was.
Yeah.
But
Well, these days, I mean, but in the 80s, maybe not as much so, but in nowadays, like the biggest market for European wine is China, actually.
wow,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. This was
It's a huge thing.
But we're gonna wrap this up in a moment. But there was a guy named Otto Nidrasky, and
Of course
he's
his name was Otto.
he's the Walter White of this story. Now, what happened was in the mid 1970s there was climate change in Austria, right? So climate change in Austria
Yeah.
made it warmer and wetter, which meant that the
Mm.
grapes, these sweet wine grapes, ended up turning sour. Now,
Mm.
sour wine is still
Mm.
legitimate, but they already had contracts out with their trade partners in Germany, and the Germans demanded that sweet, sweet wine. So so that means all of these vineyards are in a pickle, right? Because they can only make sour wine. Otto comes in with a secret formula, and he says, "Hey guys, this is what you." So he starts selling this
Oh.
diethylene glycol
Oh, my.
formula to just a couple independent vineyards. The problem is that they all start selling their formula. It becomes a trade secret. So it isn't a conspiracy between like 100 different wine producers in Austria. It's that they all just sort of independently think that they're the only ones doing this.
Dear
Right.
God.
So it's this accelerated race to the bottom to make the sweetest wine and to make the most of it to stay competitive in the market.
That's kind of how market collusion works, though, sometimes. Like, it's not always, you can prove that there's collusion even without proving like direct coordination, right? Like that'll happen where, and this happens all the time in like duopolies where it's, where there's just two big guys like Coke and Pepsi or something like that. And Coke will, all of a sudden start offering a 0-calorie, full sugar beverage, and then Pepsi will offer the same thing much sooner. And then but it's not, depending on your theory of antitrust, it's not necessarily not collusion, in my opinion.
Right. It feels. I mean, just listening to the story, it felt like a comedy of errors where there were so many different moving parts, and all of them were disincentivized to actually help the consumer.
Right.
From
Right.
from a completely regulatory system, both in Germany and in Austria, that didn't have the money or the wherewithal to go after wine adulteration. And then you have like the environmental factors of, well, this
yeah.
product is change. Like we can't really control the quality of this product if the earth is changing. And
Yeah,
then
I mean,
they've got these like,
there's definitely.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just also like, oh shit, we've got like a 10-year contract to sell wine to this distributor. Like, how do we fulfill our commitment to them if
Right.
the conditions are changing?
Right, and it's like there's like insert climate change think piece here, about
yeah.
right. I mean, you know what I mean, like about like intellectual property, climate change, and like the use of like extractive resource economies and like understanding what like ownership of organic matter really is and can be, and just like can really like this is like a perfect example of how climate controls capitalism, not the other way around. And as soon as you start thinking otherwise, you're going to start putting diethylene, whatever, bitch tits or whatever in your wine.
Yeah, it's man. That's what was he doing? Was he just sort of like, was he making wine, and then he's making wine in his garage, and he's also working on his car, and he's just sort of like, and then like
well,
knocks a bottle of antifreeze into the wine.
I think it's and it's also economies of scale. Like what happens with him selling the formula to one small vineyard probably wasn't that big a deal, and he could justify it in his mind, saying something like, well, if you put like 0.0001% per liter, it's not going to have that effect. Also, you already have a very high alcohol content in your wine, so it's going to neutralize.
Hello?
It's going to pass through the human body without any problem. But then as other people start doing this, and you don't have a scientist in charge anymore, it's like Walter White gives the meth recipe out, and then a bunch of Jesse Pinkmans are like, hell yeah, dude, let's put some chili powder in it. And like,
yeah.
You know,
it also just makes you think about the litany of just chemical and wild things that go into just everyday stuff, and how it's like, yeah, maybe they're not diethylene, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But maybe they are like something like that red number 5 that is just sort of like, it kind of fucks you up, but not completely.
Well, Johnson & Johnson just settled that $1 billion case for having arsenic in their baby powder, which is cancer causing. And then they knew that it was a problem in the U.S., and so they tried to aggressively sell it in other countries where there was, instead of just fixing the problem, they were like, well, where can we sell this without there being a law against doing it?
Yeah, that's like the Marlboro in Indonesia, where they're like, people in the United States don't smoke as much, so let's get that big chubby baby to smoke instead. He stopped smoking apparently, so you know.
Well, what happened to these guys when they got caught? Was there any punishment?
Yeah, there were some arrests, but you know, more than anything, the Austrian wine market became a laughingstock, and it's it completely undermined and
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
But it discredited them for a long time, and the video kind of ends with it really, now it's got some of the most stringent regulations out of any other country in the EU, and they rejuvenated their like sommelier market, their sort of the demand for sommeliers and the demand for wine experts, and trying to come up with like other brands, like not sweet wine, so that to get away from that stigma.
Our wine is only bitter now.
Yeah.
We only make the harshest
Yeah.
Zinfandel
Well, then
you could possibly
they're like,
make.
I really want some harsh Austrian wine. Like, well, I guess we'll have to go back to the gasoline tank to get some harshness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turpentine boys.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we love this. Oh, we wish it was sweet. Oh. Yeah.
That's a wild story, man. That's like that's juicy.
Yeah, everybody should look it up. And
that's an adjective for wine. It's very fruit forward, juicy wine.
Yeah, honestly, that story's got a real barnyard feel to it.
Yeah,
it's on the nose, wet hay.
It's a wet hay. A lot of tannins.
A lot of tannins in that juicy story. Well, guys, that concludes Ponzi Scream. Jonathan Sackler is dead. So we should all celebrate in some way, however you can in this bleak world. And that's it. That's all I got.
All right.
All All right. Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
Bye.